Perhaps it was the anesthetic. I couldn't open my eyes yet. I could only hear sounds around me. Two people were talking. The voices were familiar. Signing, "You've blown this so far out of proportion. How are you going to clean it up? Zhang Chen treats his hands like they're more precious than his life. And you went and saved Gu Haoming first? Are you trying to destroy him? How could I possibly want to destroy Zhang Chen? He just happened to wake up at the wrong moment. If I'd agreed to treat him first, the whole fake amnesia act would have fallen apart. There are still 20-something days left. I just want to keep playing a little longer. Nothing will happen to Zhang Chen." "Nothing will happen? Didn't you hear what the doctor said? 1 more minute before he gets into surgery, and Zhang Chen's hand is finished for good. And if he wakes up and finds out the truth, you and he will never have any chance again." The person holding my hand heard that, and seemed to tense up. Their palm had gone damp with sweat. A few minutes later, she pressed a kiss to my forehead, her voice full of certainty. "He won't find out. I've already arranged everything. In another 23 days, the doctor will announce that my memory has returned. By then everything will be just like before." With a long sigh, one of them left the room. The other remained at my bedside, murmuring softly, "Zhang Chen, our wedding is almost here. I've already picked out the rings. The day my memory comes back, you'll get to see them. After we get our certificate, I'll take you to see the Northern Lights. Would you like that? Do you still remember 3 years ago? The wish you made on that shooting star? When you said you wanted to be with me forever. I was so happy. I want to grow old with you too." The anesthetic was slowly wearing off. I remembered who this person was. This person murmuring on and on was my fiancée, Xia Xining. She seemed to care about me deeply. Every half hour, she would call the doctor in to check on me, thoughtfully help me drink water, arrange for my sheets to be changed, and never once leave my side, right up until I was fully awake. The moment I opened my eyes, every ounce of warmth receded from her like a tide rushing out. I watched her retreating figure slip out of the ward, and a flash of contempt crossed my eyes. I picked up my phone and checked the time. Only then did I learn I had been unconscious for 3 days. My messages were still nothing but ads and balance notifications. I closed my eyes and silently prayed that the name change paperwork would be done soon. For a long time after that, Xia Xining barely appeared. It was Gu Haoming who sent messages every day, taunts and photos showing off their relationship. I didn't open a single one. I muted him and never looked back. A few days later, I completed my discharge paperwork. Just as I reached the hospital entrance, I ran into a senior from university, a girl who had once had feelings for me. We exchanged a few pleasantries. The conversation was going well, when Xia Xining appeared out of nowhere and yanked me away. His face was dark enough to drip water. He glared at me, his eyes full of shadow, his voice dripping with jealousy. "Who gave you permission to get so close with her?" I pulled my hand free and looked at him, my tone cutting. "Didn't you lose your memory? You don't even recognize me as your boyfriend anymore. I'll talk to whoever I like. I don't see that it's any of your business." With that, I didn't wait for his reaction. I flagged down a car and left. Left with nothing to say, Xia Xining could only stand there and watch me go. After resting for some time, I slowly recovered. During a quiet moment, I roughly calculated the cost of going abroad, and found the figure was quite large. As luck would have it, a former client referred a large job my way. With nothing better to do, I took it. When I arrived at the venue, I discovered it was a birthday banquet. When I saw Xia Xining walk in on Gu Haoming's arm, I froze on the spot. A bad feeling stirred in my gut, but I'd already accepted the deposit. I swallowed my unease and raised my camera. The moment he saw me, Gu Haoming straightened his tie and sauntered over with a grin. "Thanks for coming." Try to shoot from a low angle, looking upward. Dim the brightness a little too. When I get on stage, zoom in a bit more. Following his long list of demands, I shot over 100 photos. Gu Haoming was still not satisfied. He insisted I reshoot. I patiently reshooted 3 or 4 more rounds. My injured wrist began to ache again. Gu Haoming glanced over, with a mocking expression. "What happened to your hand?" "Great photographer Gu. I guess you're not as impressive as the rumors say. Just use the first batch. At least a few of those are decent." The people around him covered their mouths, laughing. I rubbed my knees, numb from crouching so long, and pushed myself upright. Gu Haoming grew more insufferable by the second. He sauntered over to Xia Xining's side, then turned and beckoned me over with a finger. "Come here. Take a few couple shots of me and my girlfriend." My eyes hardened for an instant, then quickly returned to their usual calm. I raised my camera, pointed it at the two of them, and pressed the shutter. Gu Haoming struck pose after pose, and finally leaned down and kissed Xia Xining. The whole room erupted in squeals. Everyone was shipping them. Hearing the commotion, Xia Xining's body stiffened for a moment. He loosened his arm from around Gu Haoming's waist, and looked over at me with visible anxiety. I showed no reaction whatsoever. I kept my head down, scrolling through the photos on the camera, as though what had just happened didn't concern me at all. That 4-hour banquet finally came to an end. I packed my camera back into my bag, and took out a napkin to wipe the cake. Gu Haoming had accidentally knocked onto my clothes. In the now empty hall, a set of footsteps suddenly rang out. I looked up and saw Gu Haoming, walking straight toward me with a grin. "Thanks for your hard work tonight. You must be short on money. I have another shoot I'd like you to do. Double the rate. Do you want it?" "Double." I hesitated for a moment, then nodded and agreed. "Come." Gu Haoming led me straight up to a hotel room upstairs. Once the angles and content were settled, I had just set up my camera in the corner, when someone knocked at the door. Gu Haoming was in no hurry to answer it. He turned and gave me a meaningful smile. "It's about to start. Make sure you get everything." With that, he pulled the curtain shut to conceal the corner, leaving only a narrow slit for the camera lens. I crouched in the cramped space, listening to footsteps drawing steadily closer. In the dim, suggestive light, Gu Haoming drew a woman in as they walked slowly forward. Their silhouettes were entwined. I looked through the lens, at the figure tangled with Gu Haoming. My blood ran cold. My hand on the tripod clenched tight. I was in that room. The atmosphere in the room grew thicker and thicker. Listening to the endless sounds that followed, I was nearly numb. Even breathing had become difficult. Time moved unbearably slowly. 3 a.m. The room finally went still. The shower started running. I pulled back the curtain and dragged my legs, I'm completely numb, out into the room. I stepped over the clothes scattered across the floor. left the memory card on the table, and opened the door. The streets were empty at that hour. I wandered without direction. Not knowing how long I had been walking, I lifted my sore, heavy eyes, and found I had drifted without realizing back to my old high school. A flood of buried memories washed over me. Signing pulling me to run the full 1,000-meter track. The small hall carpeted with roses for my birthday. The stage where he confessed to me in front of the whole school. Every detail just as it had been. But I, standing in the middle of it all, felt nothing like I once had. I walked to the teaching block and ran into the head of discipline who had just arrived for work. Because of Sining's very public pursuit of me back then, nearly all the teachers knew my face. The head smiled and greeted me. Jiang Chen, what brings you back to school? And where's Sining? I heard you two got engaged not long ago. Did you come to hand out invitations? I managed a weak smile and changed the subject. It's been so long, I was just passing by and thought I'd come see the teachers. We walked and chatted, recalling many things from the past with a mixture of nostalgia and emotion. Before we parted, the head seemed to remember something. From a cabinet in the office, she retrieved a worn and yellowed diary and held it out to me. I confiscated this from Sining during a study period a while back. Now that you two have a happy occasion coming, I should return it to you. I hesitated a moment, took it, and bowed to the teacher. On the way home, I opened the diary. The first thing I saw was Sining's familiar, looping handwriting. As I read, my nose began to sting. Tears slid down before I could stop them, one after another. Even mourning what once was, the two as a kind of farewell. When the car stopped outside the villa, I'd already calmed the storm inside me. I closed the diary, pulled open the car door, and came face to face with Sining, who had just returned. Looking at the vivid red marks trailing across his neck, I thought of what had happened that night. I looked away. Sining noticed I had been crying. He frowned, trying to figure out how to ask without making it obvious. But Gu Haoming, who was clinging to him, also noticed my red-rimmed eyes and spoke up cheerfully. You worked hard last night. I've already transferred the payment. I'm very happy with the footage. He must be satisfied too, right? Hearing those loaded words, Sining's eyes twitched sharply. Satisfied with what? The birthday photos from earlier in the evening. What else? The ones from later in the night. Watching Gu Haoming's unchecked mouth, Sining's heart lurched. He quickly raised his hand and covered Gu Haoming's mouth. I paid them no attention. Turned and walked inside. Passing the bin, I casually dropped the diary in. Those years of youth, filled with love and sincerity, were buried for good.